Good evening. The main news on Boxing Day, the day after Christmas festivities. I am Mandipa Mcheche.
And I'm Justin Matlahla. We are joined by Nobo Maungwa at the Sign Language Desk.
And later on in the bulletin, Sibukele Maposa will join us from our Montreux studios in Bulawayo. But first, let's take a look at stories making the headlines.
Former ZANLA Commander General Josiah Magutavagara remembered.
The late ZANLA commander is remembered for his passion to see black people free from colonialism.
In business, the Second Republic commended for creating a favorable business climate.
Former Dynamo's player and coach David George laid to rest.
Thus, in sport, we'll give you that story and more. And now to our stories in detail, beginning with our top story. Today marks 44 years after the death of ZANLA Commander General Josiah Magutavagara in a car accident in Mozambique.
Acting President General Retired Dr. Constantino Chiwenga joined the Tongogara family at the National Heroes Acre in remembering the liberation icon this Tuesday.
You see, people think we are fighting color in Zimbabwe. We are fighting race in Zimbabwe. No, 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 no. We are fighting a system, you see, oppressive system. This is exactly the system we want to dismantle.
2023 marks the 44th anniversary of the death of the country's liberation luminary, war strategist, and commander par excellence, General Josiah Magutavagara, who died on this day in 1979. Affectionately known as General Tongo, the late ZANLA commander is remembered for his passion to see black people free from the shackles of colonialism, equality, and land returning to the black majority. This Tuesday, the Tongogara family converged at the National Shrine to mark the day and cherish the memories of the liberation stalwart. Joining the family, Acting President, General Retired Dr. Constantino Chiwenga, went down memory lane to the days of the liberation struggle and the leadership of General Tongo.
Munhu akanga akazvi wane akanga ari murwi. Chechipiri akanga ari mutungamiri. Chechitatu akanga ari muvaki. Kashoma kuti uwane maqualities akaita saiwaya kune munhu mumwe chete. Saka mukataura mashoko avakataura muna 79 just before vasati vasvika panjodzi. Vakati tinoda kuvaka Zimbabwe yakabatana. Hatiri kuvana vedu kuti vapotserane matombo netunhu tusina manga. Nezvinhu zvisina maturo. Tinoda kuvaka Zimbabwe yedu itsva ine vanhu vakabatana.
He also spoke of further plans to honor the late icon in addition to the Josiah Magutavagara Barracks, Josiah Tongogara Avenue in Harare, and Josiah Tongogara Street in Bulawayo.
Uyu munhu akatungamirira nyika. Kana kukashira kutungamirira kusunungurwa kwenyika. Munhu akatungamirira mauto kuti nyika ino ivepo. Hatigone hapana munhu angataure nezveZimbabwe asingataure sare kuti Tongo asvigone. Saka ndaikandira nyaya iyoyo kuvashandi vekuhurumende nekumhuri. Tetakatarisawo kumhuri. Nawe iko zvino zvava nani kuti tava netrust.
Acting Commander, Zimbabwe Defense Forces, Lieutenant General Anselm Sanyatwe weighed in saying Comrade Tongo's legacy lives on.
He was a unifier. He was also a politician. Munhu aibatsira kuronga. Vachironga kuti musangano wezanu uenderere mberi. However, I was a unifier pa ZAPU ne military wing ZAPU yaiwa Zipra. Zvido zvake ndo zvatakazoona zvichiitika after independence.
widow of the revolutionary icon, Senator Angeline Tongogara, has fond memories of her husband.
Murume wangu anga ari munhu akasiyana nevamwe vese. Pachirungu vanoiti a rare breed. Ndozoti ini sei ndichidaro. Ndiri kudaro nekuti vaiti pavasvika vaingochinja sezviya zvinoitarwa izvi zviya izvi. Rukasvika pane rudzi rwakadi runochinja rwodaro. Ndozvavaiita izvozvo. Kuti vasvika pane vana vechidikava vanoitawo sevana vanotamba navo kunge unzi ndevezera rimwe chete. Vasvika vaiziva kuti iko vaiverenga situation kuona kuti pana apa pandasvika pakamira sei. Wobva vadini, wobva vapinda ipapo kuti vangofanana nevanhu varipo.
A commander of the ZANLA forces, General Tongo worked with the youth wing of the then ZANU and was a product of the Chinese military training program, where he was trained in military intelligence, political science, mass media, and guerrilla war strategies. Comrade Tongogara was instrumental in arranging ZANLA forces to work with Frelimo in Mozambique and fought the Portuguese alongside the late first president of independent Mozambique, Comrade Samora Machel. It was his military prowess and intelligence that led to his appointment as the military commander of ZANLA and chair of the High Command in 1972. In 1974, he became the Chief of Defense in ZANU's Supreme Council, codenamed Darere Chimurenga, which was responsible for directing the prosecution of the liberation struggle for independence of Zimbabwe. In 1977, when ZANU reorganized, Comrade Tongo was re-elected to the party's Central Committee as Secretary for Defense, a post he held until his demise on the 26th of December 1979 after the Lancaster House Conference. Olin Ndori, ZBC News, Harare.
We will forever celebrate the legacy of Comrade Tongogara. In our next story, as the festivities continue on the Christmas holiday break, the 26th of December, known as Boxing Day, is another day where people the world over take a rest.
Of course, the history of Boxing Day is well documented, but how many know why this date is set aside? In our next story, we speak to villagers in Mondorongezi on their understanding of the day.
Boxing Day was originally a day when rich families would prepare boxes with gifts and give to the less privileged. Back then, servants of the rich would work on Christmas Day and would be gifted the following day. As time evolves, the day is now also associated with sales in some countries where people buy goods at reduced prices. For some, it's a day to open the gifts they get on Christmas. But how many really know the origins of this day? For some in Zimbabwe, there has been a belief over the years that this is a day to exchange blows and not gifts. This belief stems from taking the literal meaning of boxing to mean trading blows as boxers do. Many find humor in the significance of this holiday and choose to hold on to the belief that it's a day where people jovially engage in fights, though some are said to even take those fights seriously.
Boxing Day, saka totonzwa kana nemi muchitoda weititorovana. Tiziye kuti tiri pa Boxing Day nhasi.
Saka nhasi zuva rekurovana. Saka kubva kare nakare vanotongoritora sezuva rekurovana.
Vanototora sezuva rekurovana. Izuva rekurovana vachitoshandisa masimba avo.
Tichirovanira nei? Zvaita sei?
Boxing Day. Izuva racho. Kutosimbisana mabhonzo. Mangwana tikaonana totomhoresana.
Zviriko here, pane vaitozviita here zvokuti Boxing Day vanotorovana kana ndezvenyambo chete?
Aiwa, isusu totorovana. Takatoda isu tatomborovana tobva tatengerana chingwa takuenda kumba.
For some, they're not really bothered about what the day means. All that matters is that it's a holiday and another day to imbibe.
Inini ndati ndiri kunwa doro. Ndochega chinhu chandoona. Boxing Day handizivi kuti ndorei.
But there are some who believe this will just be a day of opening presents received on Christmas.
After Christmas, Christmas, ungoti boxing. Kuti unenge boxing ungoti unenge uchivhura zvinhu zvaunenge wakatenga zvichinzi zveChristmas. Paboxing ndio unenge wovhura kuti wopa vamwe vanenge vachifara vachidya. Izuva rekuti vanhu vanenge vachipiwa maboxes paChristmas. Paunenge uchinzi Christmas box pepe. Saka kana uine munhu waunenge wapa Christmas box, unomupa zvinhu zvaina zviri mubox. Then kana box and day ninge wava munhu apiwa uya anenge avhura umwe neumwe achivhurawo box rake. Isu takakura tichingonzwa kunzi izuva rezvibhakera. Zvino hatina kuzozivawo kuti zvibhakera zvaifamba sei asi taingonzwa kunzi izuva rezvibhakera.
Whatever the interpretation, for many, all they want is to have another day to rest on the calendar. As the Christmas and Boxing Day festivities wrap up, it's time to go back to work, and for those who had traveled, most are using this holiday to travel back. Josephine Mugio, ZBC News, Mondorongezi.
So there we are. Did you open some boxes today, Justin?
I received some boxes and I've kept some for tonight. So as soon as I get home, I'll get busy opening the boxes.
I'm sure you're really looking forward to that.
I am, and I think it's also important that, as we have heard from the report, it's a day rather to open boxes, to give and to share. So let that spirit of giving and sharing continue.
It is the season for giving and receiving. Moving on to the next story, the Zimbabwe Energy Regulatory Authority says 9 megawatts of clean energy are being added to the national grid through the net metering system, thereby reducing load shedding periods and power imports.
Net metering is a concept that during the day, when your solar panels soak up the sun, they generate more electricity than you need. Instead of letting that excess power go to waste, you can send it back to the grid through a special meter. In return, you get credits on your electricity bill, like a solar currency you can use when the sun goes down. Zera says more electricity can be added to the national grid through net metering.
We've got about 9 megawatts being fed into the grid right now, with 78% coming from commercial installations and 22% coming from domestic installations. They are in the process of looking at 97 applications before them with a further 9 megawatts, which means if these are processed, by the end of the year we could end up with at least 18 megawatts coming from net metering system.
Zera is working tirelessly to streamline the net metering process and encourage more people to join the solar revolution.
Through a statutory instrument. Net metering is a billing mechanism where consumers will install rooftop solar, and during the day when they're producing more than they are consuming, they can put to the grid the excess capacity which they will have during the day. And at night when they are not generating, when there's no sun, they will then draw from the grid. So basically you are using the grid as your battery storage.
The revelations from Zera are testimony that Zimbabwe's national renewable energy and biofuels policy, which seeks to promote optimal supply and utilization of energy for socio-economic development, is bearing fruit through operationalization of net metering and other initiatives. Tichaona Kurewa, ZBC News, Victoria Falls.
Government has commissioned the newly constructed Ngomahuru Bridge, also known as a piped drift, which is critical in accessing Ngomahuru Psychiatric Hospital in Masvingo.
Construction of Ngomahuru Bridge in Masvingo has come as a major relief to surrounding communities, as it ensures access to Ngomahuru Psychiatric Hospital and Masvingo Highway. Government, through the Rural Infrastructure Development Agency, stepped in to assist after the old bridge had been washed away by rains in 2021.
Itambudzika tichida kuinda kutauni kunotenga votatumigwawo zvimari nevana asi totadza kuinda nokuda kwebridge taisunganidza matanda tosunga newaya tokwirana pamusoro nemotokari vomboti takanganisa kufamba toda kuwa toda neiko zvino tongoti tare.
vagwere vose vanobva kune dzimwe nzvimbo ungasingakwanisi kusvika kuti mugwere azotambirwa kunze kwebhiriji zvaasingaiti kurakafa unenge achinzi ngaasvike pamwe unenge achirova vamwe vanenge asikatobatiki kuti tizoti vana chiremba uyai nemishonga kuno muzobayira munhu kuno zvanga zvisingaiti zvanga zvakatiomera.
Government says it remains committed to ensuring improved road network in rural communities.
Ihurumende iri kuita maprojects anovandudza nekusimudza upenyu hwedu mumatunhu ose atinobva pasina munhu anosaririra kumasure, pasina anosarudziwa, tichivaka nyika yedu pachezvedu.
In June 2021, that's when we moved to this new site until June 2022. Bearing in mind that during the rain season nothing will be going on. So, and the total cost is 22,840,200 ZIM dollars.
Government has been implementing various programs to ensure access to social services in rural communities, including rehabilitation of road infrastructure, construction of clinics and schools, and ensuring access to information communication technologies. Messi Bof, ZBC News, Masvingo.
Health experts have noted the need for the public to continue observing health guidelines after the country recorded more than 13,000 suspected cholera cases since February this year.
December is a season of traveling and merrymaking, and as people enjoy festivities, health experts are appealing to the public to be mindful of the cholera epidemic, which has now spread to 55 districts across the country.
We really want to encourage the people of Zimbabwe to remain vigilant and cautious because the country is still battling, a cholera outbreak. And we also want to remind the people that COVID-19 is also still with us. So it is very important that as we celebrate and enjoy the Christmas holidays, let us exercise, high levels, of hygiene. Especially given that during this rain season, we also have a lot of fruits in season. We have got a lot of mangoes, we have a lot of majanje. So people have to make sure that they wash their hands thoroughly with running water and soap, especially after using public, toilets. It is also equally important that before eating the mangoes and majanjes, people should also make sure that they clean those fruits.
It is not only the government's mandate to stop the spread of cholera, it also involves individuals to participate in this action taken by the government to stop the spread of cholera. Cholera is a very devastating disease which is now affecting almost the whole country because people are moving from center to center. So I'm encouraging everyone to practice good hygiene.
Since the cholera outbreak in February, 13,176 suspected cases have been recorded, with the bulk of them coming from Harare, Buhera, Chitungwiza and Mutare. 221 people have succumbed to cholera, with the case fatality rate now at 2.2%, which according to the World Health Organization is high, as the acceptable case fatality rate should typically remain below 1%. Abigail Tembo, ZBC News, Harare.
The Zimbabwe Law Society has cautioned the public against hiring people masquerading as legal practitioners amid an increase in cases of people being conned by fake lawyers.
Bogus legal practitioners are on the prowl, hence the need for the public to exercise due diligence when seeking legal services. In an interview with ZBC News, Zimbabwe Law Society Executive Secretary Mr. Edward Mapara said the public should verify if the lawyers are registered before engaging them for legal services.
It is a concern to us as a regulator of the legal profession. We get very worried when people end up losing their valuable resources to bogus people who hold themselves out as legal practitioners. In an effort to protect the public, we have gone to the extent of publishing notices in the courthouses, advising the public to check and verify the authenticity of the people who come to them and offer legal services.
The warning comes after a suspected bogus lawyer has appeared in court on allegations of practicing as a legal practitioner without authorization. Vongai Stolo, aged 47, was facing charges of fraud when he appeared before a Harare magistrate. It is alleged that earlier this month, the complainant's brother-in-law was remanded in custody for a rape case, and they sought a lawyer for a bail application at the High Court. The court heard that the complainant engaged the accused, who charged 1,500 United States dollars for his services. The court heard that the accused was given a deposit of 200 United States dollars. It is the state's case that the accused went to Chitungwiza Magistrates Court and entered into some offices pretending to process papers for the bail application, but the complainant became suspicious and later discovered that the accused was not a lawyer. It is alleged that the complainant requested Stole to produce his practicing certificate while they were at a police base, but he failed to do so. Fungai Jachi, ZBC News, Harare.
The First Lady, Dr. Auxilia Mnangagwa, brought smiles to the faces of nursing mothers who gave birth on Christmas Day after reaching out to them with baby hampers.
Sharing the same birthday with Jesus Christ is considered a blessing, and such was the joy of several mothers from Harare and Chitungwiza who gave birth on Christmas Day. There was great jubilation at Salimugabe, Chitungwiza Central, and Mbuyanehanda Maternity Hospitals as nursing mothers received baby hampers comprising baby clothes, blankets, diapers, and toiletries, courtesy of the Health and Childcare Ambassador, First Lady Dr. Auxilia Mnangagwa. This is not the first time Dr. Mnangagwa has reached out to mothers and their bundles of joy, as they are always on the priority list of the Angel of Hope Foundation. The first port of call was Salimugabe, followed by Chitungwiza Hospital, where nursing mothers and their newborn babies received goodies from the Mother of the Nation. Beneficiaries gave plaudits to the First Lady for remembering them when they least expected.
kuti ndinozvara musi weChristmas uye kana ndazvara musi weChristmas ndichapiwa hampa yakanaka kudai. Ndokutendai mama nerudo rwenyu kuti rangarira muve neChristmas yakanaka nesuwo matigonera.
Handaitarisira kuti ndichawanawo zvipo zvabva kuna mai vangu mai Mnangagwa.
An atmosphere of celebration also engulfed Mbuyanehanda Maternity Hospital, and it was double delight for the Mopingo family, who were blessed with twins. The nursing mothers expressed their gratitude to the First Lady for the surprise gift.
First Lady mai Mnangagwa zvatiitira nehampa yavatipa yekubatsiridza pavana.
Tangotendawo mai vedu nekuti pawo Christmas box yavatipa. Ndichitenda kuti Mwari nematwins avandipa. Amai maita basa matirangarirawo nezuva reChristmas.
Ndoda kutendawo mai vedu rafara singaiti. Ada kurwadziwa kwata tichirwadziwa kuya zvabva zvanyarara. Towana pekutangira.
Representatives from the three hospitals expressed appreciation of the First Lady's continued support.
Tirikutenda tirikufara Christmas Day zvataitirwa namai Mnangagwa. Handi mai wedu zveshuwa vauya kuzotibresera vana vazvarwa vatipira kune vari vanga vasinawo zvakwanisiro kuvana vavo vazvarwa musi weChristmas. Zvinova zvinokosha kuwana chiro a present from a mother. Mai hakusi kutanga vagara itori tsika yavo kuti zuva reChristmas, zuva reNew Year vanouya vachibresa vana nezvinhu zvavanenge vainazvo.
Ndiringoda kutenda mai vedu, the First Lady, akasike kutanga vachiuya nezvipo kuvana vedu. Saka nhasi zvekare vazviita vaya nezvipo.
Tafara tiri kufara because mai vatirangarira. Vatipa mahampa ekuita makorokoto madzimai vasununguka maChristmas babies. Pakati pevasununguka ipapo pane mumwe ari kutofara zvekufara zviya nekuti achiuya kunoku zvinhu zvake zvakabiwa mba. Saka atowana pekutangira. Tinoda kutenda mai maita basa nekuti hazviitwe nevakawanda.
and matopa vana ivava varopafadzo. We believe you are blessing vana ivava when giving these hampers.
Amai Mnangagwa, through her Angel of Hope Foundation, continues to complement government efforts in the provision of healthcare services for all. The First Lady has demonstrated unquestionable passion to assist vulnerable groups including the elderly, persons with disabilities, child-headed families, teenage mothers, and former ladies of the night. She regularly distributes goodies to the needy across the country's 10 provinces, with people from diverse backgrounds benefiting. Colette Msanyera, ZBC News, Harare.
For more news, log on to our website www.zbcnews.co.zw. You can also visit our X handle at ZBC News Online or our Facebook page, ZBC News Online.
Remember also to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel at ZBC News Online. And here are stories still to come in this bulletin. In business news, the Second Republic commended for creating a favorable business climate.
Former Dynamos player and coach David George laid to rest. Main News takes a break. We'll be back shortly.
Nana Rhoda, will you please tell us the story of how you met Papa?
Since it's Christmas, I will give it to you as a Christmas gift.
Aww. Falling in the pool was the time that I realized I fell in love.
This is the right choice, Zimbabwe.
The meaning of life is not to simply exist, but to move ahead. To rise up and achieve. To conquer. Introducing Kung Fu Energy Drink, your push for the next conquests. Kung Fu Energy Drink, master the power.
Angel of Hope Foundation, run by the First Lady of Zimbabwe, Dr. Auxilia Mnangagwa, invites applicants to register for scholarship nominations for training in aviation studies for the 2024 academic year. The registration process targets able but disadvantaged and academically gifted qualifying students, mainly from the rural areas of the country's 10 provinces. You need to be between 17 and 22 years old. A copy of certified O-level results slip or certificate with subjects mathematics, English and science. A-level is not mandatory but is an added advantage. A CV which clearly shows your district of origin as shown on your birth certificate or national identification card, and at least 3 functioning contact phone or cell numbers. Closing date for submission of applications is the 5th of January 2024. Applications to be dropped at the 10th floor, Compensation House, Corner 4th, Simon Muzenda and Central Avenue. See press for more details.
So it's payday, and you're wondering what to do with that little bit of extra cash. What will it be? Some takeaways just for you, or entertainment for the whole family? A few hours with the boys? Or over 720 hours of unbelievably amazing entertainment? Because with so many different package options to choose from, there's a lot more to enjoy for a lot less than you think. Because it's your moment with DSTV.
Zimbabwe tourism kunaka. Kana tafunga kufara magalisi tonange kariba kunosasana. Uwafunga kubata fish tonange mazowedemu ikatakata. Ukazoda muka tesango tonanga kuwange ku national park. kutaura vyako naresho unoona dzese nemutupo wako kuenda ikoko rodi modzerende ndemashungwa netara obudirako kuenda kunyanga kuchinoikefsi nepinga zvakaurisha oyo ungani wami ungapi.
This message is brought to you by the Zimbabwe Tourism Authority. Zimbo, every journey leads you home. Uripi, ungapi.
In the warm embrace of my nurturing mother, I was introduced to her cherished choice of beverage. Through every joy and challenge, it became our go-to. Now that I can make my own choices, I choose to pass on that love to the next generation. I love you, Mom.
This is the right choice, Zimbabwe.
Fast, efficient, and low-cost broadband for all. Are you a banking institution, NGO, school, university, or college? You may be a farmer, lawyer, teacher, or student. Whoever you are, whatever you do, wherever you are, whatever your internet needs. Connect smarter every time with Tel1 Broadband. Connect with Tel1 Broadband for fast, efficient, reliable, and affordable internet services. To find out more about Tel1 Broadband, visit our website at www.tel1.co.zw.
Empowering women has been cited as essential to the health and well-being of families and communities.
In an abusive relationship often erodes women's choices, self-esteem and potential. And in 2020, as the COVID-19 pandemic swept through, resulting in lockdown, for some women it was a nightmare, and gender-based violence GBV cases spiked, with others ending fatally. As part of efforts to address GBV in communities, government in partnership with Plan International started the Harari Urban Women and Youth Empowerment Program. The program saw counseling services, skills training and various business ventures and financial support being rendered to women and youths in areas that were identified and constituted a significant rise in GBV cases and drug and substance abuse. Glenda Madaupandu, a GB survivor, is one beneficiary who has been given a new lease on life.
Vatati vanhu vaigara vairuka zvavo but tanga tisina that experience. Patatosvikawo tikatsvagirwa maticha vaidzidzisa kuruka, vaidzidzisa zvefishing, vaidzidzisa zvebaking, kwamune matichers ezvakawanda. Saka takadzidzawo from them experiences akawanda, takadzidza kuzvimiririra. Saka inini hanguwo netsvakurudzo dzangu ndakaonawo kuti ezekuti basa randakasarudza rekuruka musoro kai ndakazviona kuti after 5 years ndiri kuda kuti ndivhure chikoro changu chekuti ndinchidzidzisawo vechidiki kuruka. Vakurudzirike vasangogare kudzimba uko vakamirira mari dzana baba kuti baba achauya. Kana baba auya asina mari, iraitiwo yemukadzi kutengawo chikafu, kuitira gender based violence mudzimba mishonga iri kuwanda nokuti vakadzi takangogara. Saka murume akauya kumba asina mari, you find kuti ma-problems evakadzi anokura ende vakadzi vanogara vaine mbonje.
Well, the Harari Urban Women and Youth Empowerment Program comes to an end this year with over 265 women having benefited. It leaves a legacy of sustainability and resilience in various communities. Memory Chamisa, ZBC News, Harare.
Time for us now to cross over to our Montreal studios, where we join the Sibukele Maposa, who will take us through the next couple of stories from that end.
Thank you very much, Justin. Good evening, Mandipa. Hoping that you guys had a wonderful Boxing Day, of course, unwrapping those gifts. I'm not going to say much about my gifts, but a memorial service has been held for the last emperor of the Gaza state, King Gyana, who died in Europe in captivity in 1906 in Mzila in Chipinge.
Government has moved to recognize the Gyana chieftainship, although his territory stretches to Mozambique. According to his grandson, Mr. Happy Ngumalo, King Gyana was the son of Mzila, whose grandfather was Soshangane. Nicknamed the Lion of Gaza, he reigned from around 1884 to 28 December 1895, the day he was imprisoned by a Portuguese general, Joaquim Muzindo Albuquerque, and was exiled to Lisbon, where he died.
Inini ndiri kutenda kutanga ndiri kutenda president vamunangagwa remekedzo rwavakandipa vakandipawo purazi vakandipawo imba yekugara homestead vakandipawo mota yekufamba nayo vakandipawo tractor kuti ndirime ndiro saka vechitambira umambo hwangu saka ndiri kuona kuti munhu wakatumwa ndiMwari kuuye kodzose chivantu panzvimbo yacho kuti nyika idzoke magariro ayo makarekare anga akadini akanaka. Uri kuona ndichitendazve president Nyusi vechiisa chiumbwa changu Gyana kana kuti statue vakakwanisawo kuti nditorwe inini ndiende kovhura statue yasekuru angu vechindipawo remekedzo rebasa rakashanda sekuru angu.
Local leadership, including headmen from the area and Chipinge East legislator Honorable Lincoln Ndliwayo, expressed gratitude for the recognition.
Sedunhu rangu rino chino chekutanga ende chavane chiedza chenyika ino kuti madzishe anocherechedzwa kudai nenhoroondo yaitsanangudzwa yekuti kunotorwa mapfupa emunhu echiuya kochengetwa ende ndinoda kupa kutenda kutongi yevatema kundotungamirwa naComrade ED Munangarwa.
Taremekedzwa zvikuru kuti inga history yedu kuti tizoite madzishe kutotanga pakatoitwa hondo pana kushuwa kwakagarwa pasina kuita hondo saka zvatibatsira kuti tione kuti zvotodzokera kuti vakanga vakatuka mitumbi yavo yechingoswa kumweni vaita kutoti vatodzosera mitumbi yose yemadzishe vakanga varimo.
Tinofara nezvaitwa na His Excellency President yekupa rukudzo kuna King Gyana nekuvapawo nzvimbo yekuti vange vechinzi ndo yavanotonga.
Toda kutenda baba vedu vamunangagwa vatukadirisa nerecognition yavaita kuna King Gyana chirangarira gamba redu tichirangarira mambo wamadzimambo Buddha simukakuno kuChipinge East.
The Gaza Empire was established by General Soshangane and existed between 1824 and 1895, covering territories of southeastern Zimbabwe and Mozambique. Tamuka Charakupa, ZBC News, Chipinge.
The United Nations says the Israeli airstrikes in Gaza are unrelenting after at least 80 people were killed in airstrikes at the Gaza refugee camp early this Tuesday morning.
Gemma Connell of the UN humanitarian agency OCHA, who visited a hospital struggling to treat the injured, said the carnage is devastating as the few working hospitals are overwhelmed. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu earlier vowed to intensify the fight against Hamas. His comments come days after United States Secretary of State Antony Blinken implored Israel to lower the intensity of its strikes. On Monday, Gaza's Hamas-run health ministry said over 20,000 Palestinians had been killed in Israeli bombardments, with most of the fatalities being children and women. Israeli and Arab media have reported that Egypt has proposed a ceasefire plan between the two sides. According to the reports, the plan would see a phased release of all Israeli hostages and an undetermined number of Palestinian prisoners held in Israeli jails over the course of a month and a half, ending with a suspension of Israel's offensive. A previous temporary truce negotiated by Qatar saw dozens of hostages being released from Gaza in exchange for Palestinian prisoners. So far, both Israel and Hamas have resisted growing calls for a ceasefire.
And that will be all. Sibigela Maposa is my name. We will now take a break and return with news from Pocket Hill, where Justin and Mantipa will be waiting for you. Stay with us.
This is the right choice, Zimbabwe.
This holiday season, DSTV's got so much great entertainment. You, your family, and your guests will be spoiled for choice.
Always a tremendous atmosphere here. The treble winners are back. Shoot and score. This is outstanding.
Celebrate Zimbabwean cuisine.
This is food now. It doesn't matter who you're hosting.
We're family, and we can conquer anything.
We've got unbeatable shows for the whole neighborhood to choose from.
This day just got better.
We're more than prepared for any assault.
We're actually great. We're really great.
I can have my happily ever after.
Just a lot. All the time.
We're all about giving you entertainment of your choice and options that suit your family. So stay connected to DSTV for the happiest holidays yet. DSTV, it's your moment.
I don't care, I don't care, I don't care. I don't care if they know the truth about how much I care for you. I don't care, I don't care, I don't care.
Show some love to your fabrics with Boom Bubble Plus washing powder with powerful dirt-fighting enzymes and special color protection. Whiter whites and brighter colors. Boom, and the dirt is gone.
Life is a precious gift, more precious than silver and gold. Parties and alcohol, with road traffic accidents happening every 15 minutes and at least one person dying every 4 hours in Zimbabwe every day. More die over weekends and public holidays. Take heed. Remember your loved ones. Don't drink and drive this festive season. This message is brought to you by the Traffic Safety Council of Zimbabwe.
Mama, today I'm about to embark on the next chapter of my life. You've been by my side every step of the way. Through the late nights and endless studying, you always believed in my dreams. And as I start my new journey and my new career, I want to thank you for helping me make the right choice. To the women who never gave up on me, thank you, Mom. Merry Christmas.
This is the right choice, Zimbabwe.
I'm very impressed with what I've seen so far since the festive season began and since our launch for domestic tourism campaign to promote our own destinations to our people, the local Zimbabweans that live in Zimbabwe, and also the diaspora community. Look at where we are today. We are in Matopos and many families are here. This is a heritage site where Cecil John Rhodes was buried, and also a heritage site for our own richness. Look at the stones around, the mountains around, and other things that can be found here. It's also teaching our own children that the history of Zimbabwe starts from where and going to wherever that we want to take it, and the young people should learn. That is what impressed me today, that a lot of parents brought their children, and the children are so keen to read about the history we find here about Cecil John Rhodes. Madeko takanga tifamba munzvimbo dzinofara vanhu muno muBulawayo.
The Minister of Tourism in the building.
ndakasangana nevamwe vakabva kuharare vamwe vakabva kwamutare vachiti aiwa minista nezta nevamwe venyu vaisa munoshanda navo makatikurudzira kuti tisaende kunopedza mari tiri kunze kwenyika. Gore rino tafunga kugara tine pakeji yedu yekuti tadhiraivha kubva harare tadhiraivha kubva kwamutare nhasi torara mubulawayo mangwana kureva nhasi christmas toswera kumatopols ndosaka tavatevera kuno.
Merry Christmas!
Welcome back and thank you so much for staying with us. Time for business on Christmas Day, Boxing Day. Zimbabwe has been ranked among the top 5 regional economies that have invested in new power projects to sustain industry and household requirements.
Massive energy projects in the renewable and non-renewable sectors have seen the Southern African Power Pool SAP commending the Zimbabwean government for creating a favorable business climate towards mitigating power challenges. The 12-member institution also reveals that 4 other economies that have scaled up power projects in the past 2 years include South Africa, Tanzania, Mozambique, and Angola. Confirming the latest ranking, SAP Executive Director Mr. Stephen Diwa said Zimbabwe's success story in energy investments has attracted the interest of other regional economies.
We have seen an implementation of projects that are assisting to fill the gap between supply and demand, and I think Wange 7 and 8 is a testament to that. And we noticed that the government is making efforts to try and ensure that the gap is filled.
The regional power institution highlights that it will in the future direct its member economies to learn from Zimbabwe's energy sector investment reforms.
It's very important for governments to create an enabling environment for private sector to come and invest in industry, particularly to invest in the power sector. And we are happy that we are seeing that happening with a lot of independent power producers that have been licensed by ZERA.
SAP, which was created in 1995, is an institution for Southern African electricity utilities that focus on a competitive electricity market, integration of power trading, sharing and network systems, and facilitate investments in the energy sector, including mobilizing resources for expanding power stations. Stanley James, ZBC News, Harare.
From business, we now take a look at the arts, where it is a sad day in the entertainment industry. This Tuesday, Afro-Jazz maestro Bob Nyabinde, who died on Saturday, has been buried at Kwekwe Central Cemetery. Nyabinde died at the age of 68 after a long battle with diabetes. He started his music career as a teacher in Redcliffe, earning himself the nickname the Headmaster. The musician later left the teaching profession and went on to produce hits such as Paninyaya, Chabuda Hapana, Jiripangadzi and Junoita Wope, among others. Nyabinde is survived by 2 sons, Albert and Aga, and 5 grandchildren.
And still in the arts, renowned gospel artist Eric Moyo, who died on the 20th of this month, has been buried in Bulawayo.
A somber atmosphere engulfed Bly Amphitheatre as mourners gathered to pay their last respects to the gospel music star, with family and friends describing Eric as an artist who impacted lives of many people. His sudden passing just days before Christmas was highlighted as having left a huge gap in his family.
Eric was a young man like any other young man, but one mark upon him that remains in my heart was that Eric would get what he wants to get. Eric was focused on something and would take it and have it.
Eric was not just a big brother. He was a guy that loved to laugh. And to me, he was the coolest person when we were growing up. I just wanted to be like him because he would create a lot of cool things. We knew Eric would love to sing, and we also knew that Eric was an artist.
Others noted that his music had touched hearts across the continent.
I believe that every artist, every musician is feeling the same, both in Bulawayo and South Africa. He's been a giant on Joy Celebration, he's been a giant in the city in Bulawayo. So for combining those two people, the way they are feeling, and I know that everybody's feeling the same because nobody expected that Eric could go a buffet.
Joy Celebration, the group Eric had called home for years, spoke of his infectious laughter, unwavering faith, and dedication to his craft.
So he was that kind of a person, a very quiet person. He liked dressing nicely, you know. And then when he gets on stage, he's not quiet anymore. You know, he would be dancing like a boss, which is something completely different from him when he's not on stage. The biggest thing is that he worked very well with everybody. The choir loved him. We are grateful for God for allowing us to work with Eric. We're grateful to Zimbabwe, to Bulawayo. We are grateful for the time we spent with him.
The funeral service was marked by music to give Eric a befitting send-off, evoking his electrifying stage presence. Eric Moyo was one of the pioneers of the TV acclaimed show CBZA Academy in 2006 and was the first winner of the Idols East Africa, a platform which propelled him into international stardom. At the time of his passing, Eric was a member of the multi-award winning South African gospel group Joy Celebration. Yolanda Moyo, ZBC News, Bulawayo.
We now take a break. We'll be back with sport.
I'm gonna tell you why my clothes look bright. Tell you why my clothes look clean. Tell you why they smell so nice. I'm feeling fresh, you know what I mean. It's got a little bit of oxy bleach with a nice perfume that will leave your clothes looking rich and have you feeling good. Aloha, yeah. Aloha. You need to try Aloha.
Aloha washing powder. Say hello to fresh.
In sport, legendary former Dynamos player and coach David George, who died on Saturday, has been buried at Zororo Cemetery, with football stakeholders describing him as a fatherly figure.
The football fraternity came out in their numbers to pay their last respects to former Dynamo striker David George, who passed on last week after a long illness. David George, popularly known as Broom Boy, made his name in the late 70s and early 80s before he retired in 1993. As a player, he won 5 league titles with Dynamos before venturing into coaching, where he won the league as an assistant coach at his beloved Dynamos as well as Motor Action. The Mbare-born George played alongside other football greats at Dynamos, including Shepard Murape, Sande Chidzambwa, Simon Sachiti, Kudamu Chemei, and George Mastermind Shire, among others. David George was described by his students as a fatherly figure.
And noti gladiga, wangwari baba, muno wekuti kubhora, waiti even ukakanganisa ukadii vaizokutora after game or after show kutora utaura newe kuti ndisvike pandiri ndi blood wakanditora from kwekwe mapraz kuya muno mara ndi blood.
David George was a very good old man. I had the privilege to play with him. Munhu akaida kubatanidza vana ayumba vanhu aikurudzira vana vadiki vanga vachiri kutanga vachipinda muDynamos Football Club. Akakwanisa kuguruma majuniors akawanda stereke muDynamos.
Even former administrators at Dynamos, he had kind words for George.
Dave George was a very dedicated former player and a very dedicated coach and a very dedicated administrator. I've worked with him since 2005, and each time I worked with him, he was a very straightforward person, and what is right, he always stood with what is right.
George aiti anoda kunetsana nomwe munhu. Chinhu chaitaura chete ndechokuti ngatibatane unity.
Funeral services provider Zororo Pumulani once again took care of the funeral expenses for another football legend after doing the same for Joe Mugabe, Charles Yowane, and David Mandigora, among others.
We are here today mourning with the family of David George in his passing away. It is very sad to hear about the passing away of our legends. As our norm is at Zororo Pumulani, we are always there to assist our fellow Zimbabweans in times of need.
The Broom Boy sweeps no more and keeps a sad year for football lovers after losing Zimbabwe legend Raman Gombo and gigantic goalkeeper George Chigowa last month. John Nandara, ZBC News, Harari.
Indeed, there goes the broom, it sweeps no more. Newly promoted Division 1 Eastern Region champions Buhera Minerals Football Club are leaving nothing to chance as they prepare for their debut Kasolaga Premier Soccer League season.
After the relegation of Masvingo United, popularly known as Yuna Premier League action is back in Masvingo after the promotion of Buhera Minerals, a club which started off as a team for mine workers. The Lithium Boys, as the team is affectionately known, gained promotion after Tenax were dodged points for using an ineligible player. Buhera Minerals regroups this Wednesday for an 8-week intensive training program. Club spokesperson Colin Nikisi confirmed the training program.
We've started our preparations. The guys regroup today and they should start training tomorrow. The next 3 or 5 days, the coaches will mainly work on physical conditioning as well as player assessment, although we expect the training regime to get intense. That's in the second, third week and the fourth week. But by and large, we've identified some players. It's unfortunate that I will not shed much into the arrangements of the final details, but our coaches, they're working around the clock to at least bring in 8 to 11 experienced players that will then at least give these other youngsters a bit of a shove.
Nikisi added that the club will be using Kibo Stadium for its home matches as the team works on completing renovations at the Lithium Stadium. The Lithium Boys are expected to appoint an experienced gaffer to guide the side in their debut PSL season, while experienced players will also be added to the squad. Mtokozi Stube, ZBC News, Bulawayo.
The Basketball Union of Zimbabwe has shifted focus to preparations for 2 under-16 and under-18 international basketball tournaments penciled for early next year.
After successfully hosting the AfroBasket African qualifiers this year in Bulawayo and sending JBC to Africa's last 16, Basketball Union of Zimbabwe says it will leverage on the youth camp held in Harare to prepare for the under-16 and under-18 age groups. The two age groups have two international tournaments early next year, with the under-16 set to feature in the African Union Sports Council Games at a venue still to be announced, while the under-18 will head to Mozambique for the AfroBasket qualifiers. Basketball Union of Zimbabwe President Jomo Juru notes that 2023 has been an eventful year for the sport code, which saw implementation of the FIBA-sponsored Your Rules, Your World program.
An eventful year for us. We managed to get a lot of activities and competitions going, and we're quite happy really with the work that we got done. You remember the year started with us hosting the AfroBasket qualifiers in Bulawayo, where we had a lot of countries that came through. Mozambique came through, so did Zambia and Angola. So we were quite happy with that. We also have just come now last week from the youth camp that we hosted in Harare, where we trained coaches, and we also trained youths from 14 up to 16 with FIBA. So also that was a highlight.
Mujuru added that the recently held Harare Youth Camp laid groundwork for the two pending upcoming tournaments. Meanwhile, the involvement of school teams in the Bulawayo Basketball League and the reintroduction of the Elite League is set to add flair to the game.
We are pretty much excited with the coming in of the Elite League, where there is the Elite 6 teams, our Sunday games. If you haven't come to watch our Sunday games, I think you're missing out. I think we're very excited by those because the quality of basketball is very good, and the competition is very good. I think if you come to watch our Sunday games, it's you'll very much enjoy.
Riverdale Clippers and NAST are the school teams taking part in the Bulawayo Basketball League. Mthokozi Dube, ZBC News, Bulawayo.
And that's sport. Next, the weather.
Good evening, Zimbabwe. It's time for today's weather report and forecast. My name is Baba Maketa. The western provinces of the country were fortunate enough to receive precipitation on the Christmas Day, and the highest of which was at Bulawayo Ghost Observatory, where 31 millimeters of rainfall was measured this morning. Binga measured 21 millimeters, Lupani 15, and Victoria Falls measured 14 millimeters. Meanwhile, the cloud event that is currently affecting the country has showed significant progress in moving eastwards and is covered by midday today the whole country. Therefore, for the forecast tomorrow, we're expecting thundershowers all over the country, and the heaviest of which should be over the northern and the eastern parts of the country, where precipitation amounts in excess of 50 millimeters are expected. In the same manner, we're also expecting these rains to be violent in some places, with lightning and hailstones. And for the temperatures in detail, we're expecting a relative maximum of 25 and a minimum of 17 degrees Celsius, Bulawayo 24 and 16, Gweru 24 and 16, Mutare 23 and 15, Kwekwe 25 with a minimum of 17, Kaduma 27 with a minimum of 18 degrees Celsius. Masvingo should have a maximum of 23 degrees Celsius with a minimum of 17 degrees. Chinoi 26 and 17, Lupane 31 and 19, Pindua 27 and 16, Marunda 23 and 16, Gwanda 28 with a minimum of 19 degrees Celsius. And for major holiday resort areas, we're expecting Victoria Falls to have a maximum of 27 and a minimum of 18, Kariba 30 and 22, Great Zimbabwe 23 and 17, Nyanga 22 and 14, Matopos 25 with a minimum of 16, Chimanimani should have a maximum of 22 degrees and a minimum of 15 degrees Celsius. Our outlook, that is for the weather, for the day after tomorrow, we're expecting the cloud end to have drifted further eastwards. Therefore, maximum rainfalls are expected over the northeastern parts of the country, that is over the northern parts of Manicaland, Mashonaland East, Mashonaland Central, Harare Metropolitan, as well as the extreme northern parts of the country. Thank you, Zimbabwe. That's all for the weather desk. Enjoy the rest of your viewing.
And that weather report concludes our main news for today. Good night.
Good night.